We live in a world that is hypersexualized. We monetize sex from high-end fashion to social media growth. And yet, as a society, we still haven't made sex normal. As a licensed therapist, life coach, and master energy healer, I've spent years watching people try to meditate their way out of a body that they are ashamed of. We are shamed for the experience of sex as a human. This creates what I call the sexual split. You are performing purity or high vibes for the digital algorithm while your true primal self is exiled from the shadow. This isn't just a social problem, it's a spiritual crisis. You cannot manifest your high potential while you are actively suppressing the very life force, the energy, the prana that fuels your existence. Today, we are tearing down the wall between the sacred and the sensual. I want to share a personal breakthrough I have had recently. I have a friend, a deeply spiritual peer. For years, we talked about meditation, the soul, and the universe. We spoke from the heart and the crown. We never talked about sexuality. Finally, we crossed that line. I told her about my own difficulties accepting myself as a fully sexual being while trying to be a spiritual teacher. I admitted the shame I felt about my desires and the stigma I feared. When she met me with the total validation, the energetic shift was seismic. I realized that my sexual shadow wasn't a distraction from the path anymore. It was the path. That conversation did more for my inner peace than 1,000 hours of silent prayer because it finally made me whole. Why is the world so comfortable with sex on a billboard but terrified of the sex in a conversation? Because shame is profitable. When we are disconnected from our root and sacral chakras, you are easier to control. You look for external validation. You overconsume to fill the void, and you suffer from imposter syndrome because you're hiding a third of your humanity. As a therapist, I've seen this manifest as chronic anxiety and self-sabotage in my clients. If you believe your sexual nature is low vibration, you create an internal war. You try to reach the light by cutting out the roots. But a tree without roots doesn't reach the sky, it decays. When we keep sex in the shadow, we don't become more spiritual. This is the key to understanding today's point. We just become more fragmented. We end up spiritual bypassing, using good vibes to mask a deep, unhealed relationship with our own biology. Let's talk about the parts of the shadow most people are afraid to name: BDSM, bondage, an alternate lifestyle, anything that is outside of the realm of vanilla. Mainstream spirituality, these are often labeled as dark. But through the lens of shadow work, these are high-intensity laboratories for healing. In the world of BDSM, we intentionally explore power, surrender, and pain. For someone in bondage, it's not about the rope. It's about the spiritual act of radical trust. In a society obsessed with performing control, the act of consensually surrendering is a massive breakthrough. As a master energy healer, I've seen that these taboos often contain an exact medicine to a person that needs to move their energy from their root to the crown. It's about integration, not deviance. It's about being a seamless self, where no parts of you is off limits to the divine. And that's a hard pill to swallow for some people. How do you stop being a consumer of the shadow and start being the author of your own light? Acknowledge that you cannot be holy while hating your body and your sexual impulses. Find a trusted peer or a spiritual friend and break the silence. Shame needs to be dissolved before we can move forward in our spiritual journey. Sexual energy is just raw life force. When you stop judging your life force, your sexual energy, you can move it. Breathe into your sacral chakra and allow that energy to rise to your heart. Every time you feel judgment, shame creeping up. Reject the stigma. Understand that an alternate lifestyle or a weird desire for sex, which we all have, is just a piece of the puzzle. It only becomes dark when you try to hide it and go into a convoluted space trying to fulfill this fantasy. True spirituality is not a graduation from your humanity. It is an immersion into it. The animal and the angel are not enemies. They are the same being. One provides the wings, but the other provides the blood and the fire. They need to work together for us to function as a true human being at its prime. The validation I felt with my friend was the day my spirituality became real. It was the day I stopped being a spiritual performer and started being a complete person. Don't let a society that profits from your shame tell you how to feel about your soul's connection with your body. I want to hear from you. Have you ever felt that your spirituality and your sexuality were at odds? Have you ever had a taboo conversation that changed everything? Let's celebrate the end of split in the comment section below. If you are ready to live a seamless, integrated, unshakable life, hit that subscribe button. We're going to go deep into the light and in the shadow every single week. This is Coach KP. Peace.